Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. The card we're making today is this one. It's got an ombre background. The stamp set called Here Together was recently launched in conjunction with the Here For You dies, and there's also a pack of designer series paper called All Together, which are 6x6 inches. The pack contains 48 sheets, 12 double-sided designs for each of each design. They're all in black and white. They'll only be available while stocks last, up until May the 2nd, 2022. The Natural Tones Stampin' Blends collection come in 5 pairs. They are light, medium, medium deep, and deep. They're also numbered differently to other alcohol blends which have special names for them. These are just numbered from 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 to 1000. Now you can either use them in the pairs that they come in, but equally you can also jump from the spectrum 100 to 1000 and mix and match them to get the right colour for you. In the 2022 to 23 annual catalogue, these will carry on. To make this card you'll need the stamp set. The ombre effect I'm using Pumpkin Pie, Bumblebee and So Saffron, a blending brush and Tuxedo Black Memento ink. A real red marker pen, it doesn't matter whether it's light or dark. I think this one is light. Stampin' Up blending brushes come 3 in a pack. I'm also going to be using the smallest of the Scarlet Contour dies. Versamark ink and the Basics embossing powders, which come with 3 jars, 1 clear, 1 in black and 1 in white, but I believe they're not available at the moment, so watch out when it comes back into stock. The card base is 8 1/4 by 5 7/8, so that's 21 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters. The basic black layer is 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, that's 14 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters, and also need one in basic white with the same measurements for inside. Then for the top layer, this is basic white and it's cut slightly smaller at 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. In metric that will be 13.5 by 9 centimeters. You also need a piece of basic black scrap for your label on the front. Actually, let's glue this piece to the card front. Check. I need the larger piece for inside the card, so we'll glue that down as well. Stamp a heart, clean the stamp and stamp again next to it. That's the inside of the card decorated. So bring in a scrap of paper, because I'm going to get quite messy in a minute. Stamp at the bottom. I've also stamped this on a post-it note so I can mask it, because you don't want a pumpkin pie arm, do you? It's not quite covered. To mask that, otherwise you'll end up with an orange, a pumpkin pie hand. So I'll ink up with the pumpkin pie first and work it across the paper, off the paper, then on the paper, so that you don't leave any harsh lines. I'm going to take a scrap of paper because I don't want to get inky fingers onto my project. I'll clean that brush and ink up with Bumblebee, and then starting off the paper, work the next third of the cardstock. Work off the paper and overlap a little bit. Clean that off as much as possible. Go on to the lightest yellow, which is So Saffron. Work off the paper, then onto the paper. Switch back to the Bumblebee. Go in between the two to blend it a bit better. And also between these two. Bring back my Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm going to just stamp above here. Lift this up carefully and you can see the mask. You can save the mask for another project, and then I'm going to be using the 7 and 800. So the higher the number, the lighter it is. So I'll use the 700 as the dark bit and colour in the hands. Just a little bit here, colour in the nails. So I'm going to use my Stamparatus. Versamark ink is transparent and sometimes you can't see where you're stamping. And if you've stamped and the ink hasn't taken, it's very difficult to try and stamp it again. But if you use a Stamparatus, you won't have that problem because it will stamp in the same place each time. Sprinkle embossing powder over it. Flick off any excess, then use the heat tool to set it. Now that it's been heat set, use the scalloped contour dies to die cut it. And I'll do that off camera and I'll be back. Put some dimensionals on the back and place that on top in the middle, then glue it onto the card. So there's the card finished. Now before I go, I'll show you some other samples. This sheet of Designer Series paper will cut into 4 3x3" pieces, and I made this card with it, and pretty pattern paper, and I use crystal effects on the heart here. This one I used the Picture This die. I cut up some paper with these 3 sheets here. This one I coloured in with different tones of the blends, and then these ones I coloured the leaves in Pool Party and Granny Apple Green, and then embellish the inside like so. I cut up some of the raised hands and then fussy cut them and coloured them in different blends, and also die cut the words here for you. And this one is from the image where you hook your pinky fingers, I promise, using the triple stamping technique. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for joining me today. All the supplies are listed below this video in the Show More section. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching. Bye.